Guys, it's Karalynn Cromings, and welcome back to the Quit Getting Screwed podcast, where we talk about all the ways not to get screwed in the construction industry. And today we're going to talk about a topic that is ever evolving and ever making our lives easier, especially in the construction industry. And so we're going to talk about tech and AI in construction. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Chloe Smith. How are you, Miss Chloe?
I'm good. Thank you, Karalynn. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being on the show. So tell me a little bit about your AI and tech and kind of what your product does, what it's called. Tell me all the things initially about what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
absolutely. So our platform is called Mercator AI. We are what we call a real-time construction intelligence platform. Basically, what we're doing is we're using AI to map the entire life cycle of a plot of land, understanding, what happens throughout its journey, where can we identify early signals that might define a new construction project is occurring, and how can we get our customers in front of those construction projects at the earliest on point at a stage that's viable for them so that they can be proactive consultants throughout the early process. So we specifically work with general contractors, building product manufacturers, and real estate agents right now.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this interesting world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from a construction family. My father would have loved if I was a civil engineer, but I went head head into data. I worked as a head of innovation for a global marketing and advertising agency where we were working with some of your favorite biggest brands, helping them understand how do they use kind of the external world of data, the data they don't produce, to help better understand and contextualize the data they do produce. So we often hear about business intelligence, BI, we've got Tableau, Power BI, all these amazing dashboard solutions that help us understand our business. But how do we help ourselves understand the context of how we're performing within kind of the greater world of our industry? And so I had the opportunity to build rapid market intelligence platforms for our business development teams to really get them up to speed on a new market that they were stepping into. And I realized that there's a huge potential to apply similar knowledge or similar capabilities to more foundational industries. And so I was probably driving home one night thinking to myself, here's my father who's, his network is his net worth, and thinking how much that actually presents a challenge, especially for, the younger generation stepping up into business development shoes and construction, having to fulfill the, revenue targets of folks that have been in industry for, 35, 40 years. And so how could we use tools like we're using today in the marketing and advertising space to actually inform, what's happening around you, what's happening that you can't see, what's happening that you're missing out on, and then how can we get you in front of those opportunities with the right information at the right time, knowing the right stakeholders and the right contact information.
So tell me, how does this, like in layman's term, how does this work, and what is the end result that your GC client gets that they can use?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our proprietary AI basically stitches together all these types of interactions that happen along the life cycle of a plot of land, right? From, purchasing land in the conception phase all the way through to pre-construction, construction, post-construction. So what our GC customers come into the platform and do is say, they tell Mercator, these are the types of projects that I've worked on in the past that I really like to win again or be aware of at an earlier stage. Mercator does all that hard work and basically shoots them out on a regular basis, opportunities in real time that are happening around them that they may not know about. And so not only do they get to come into the platform, see the project and what work has been done so far, as well as who's involved so far, and then have not only contact details for those individuals, but also robust profiles on what else they're working on. So they might not be able to get in on that project maybe today. They have other projects they can get in on, or they can start building out even a bigger relationship. If this is a fantastic, viable opportunity for them, they can also potentially get on additional projects and start supporting their clients and their consultants in a more proactive way.
It goes out and like when a property has sold, it knows that, and it knows what it like the steps that would normally take to go to a construction project. So it spits out the information of like the owner, or what is the information that the GC actually gets?
Yeah, so we are able to present them everything from land title purchases to, are we seeing appraisals or developer loans, or are we starting to see development permits come through? What applications have happened so far? We partner with cities, regulatory boards, privatized entities. Sometimes we'll be scraping information, all to pull that together so that when you come into a project that Mercator's defined for you, you're able to see, okay, what work has happened so far, who's touched this project so far, as well as, do I have plans already or schematics, and then what else can I go learn about that company in terms of their profile. What kinds of products do they work on? Who do they work on those products with? What kind of value of those products typically that they build? And then what other projects do they have going on? In the same way, you can see that whole timeline of work that's happened so far.
So it really opens up like who their potential customers could be from the GC perspective.
Exactly. And very much de-risking their revenue in the sense that we're helping to diversify their client base, making sure that, yes, we are fantastic farmers and we love to farm our current clients. But there is a need to start hunting, especially as more unknown parties come into the market, instead of starting to understand, who are they, what realm do they particularly like to participate in, what sectors and verticals, and who do they like to start working with. And so we can start to identify that even or very early
Gotcha.
on.
So can you tell me like a client success story, your favorite client success story? No names, obviously, but just tell me kind of
All good.
what's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, most recently, one of our customers just got invited to 2 projects that they would not have found without us. And so not only have we been able to find them, those early breadcrumbs of who they should be talking to and which partners they should start building relationships with, but also being able to put them in front of viable projects that, they would have completely missed out on. So
Gotcha.
we've been able to do that for them.
Gotcha. And so then how do you work with real estate agents? You said you work with real estate agents as well. How does that
Yeah,
work?
absolutely. So our real estate agents, one of the biggest challenges that they have is understanding what new listings and properties are coming on the market. So we're able to help them not only identify new listing opportunities, but also being able to identify developers early on that are starting to build real estate. And so what we're able to do is help them get involved, get consulting, help them define what they should be building, and then ultimately make sure that they're able to ensure there's a tenant that can step into that building when it's
Gotcha.
built.
And let me ask you a question that just popped into my mind because of who I represent, and
Yeah.
you might not know the answer to this, but like specific material suppliers, like could they? I know that's not your target audience, but could they find out like, hey, here's all the projects that are using a product that you sell?
We're not quite there yet where we're able to identify the specifications on a project. So that's something that we're working towards. We're still an early stage company, and so a lot of what we're building out is still still in our product roadmap. But our building product manufacturers today are able to identify who is the architect on a project that could be
Gotcha.
viable for them and get spec'd faster and earlier. Really, what we're doing for them is opening up that window of opportunity so that they can have that aha moment. It's actually also really beneficial for the architect because they're constantly trying to find new materials and understand what's the latest and greatest. So there's kind of a two-way value there.
That yeah, because they don't have to go out and find them then, and they're actually looking for the architects to be like spec on the
Exactly.
product. That's kind of a great idea as well too. Uh, so tell me, how does the startup go? How is it going?
I mean, it's going well. I mean, it's a startup, so it's a roller coaster ride. We have, we've just recently launched or closed, sorry, our seed funding round. So 3.75 million USD is what we
Congratulations, that's
raised.
awesome.
Thank you. As a Canadian company, that's definitely amazing that we were able to step into the US market like that. We've had some fantastic success with our current customers, and we're starting to see pickup in momentum, especially with folks that are seeing seeing their companies start to age out, right? And so like the
Definitely.
leadership in the company is starting to age out and they're being saddled with the responsibility of bringing in that revenue. We're seeing a lot of folks starting to reach out proactively and saying, okay, I need better tools. I need to better understand my market. I need to make sure I'm not missing out on anything. And especially, I need to make sure that I'm not treating every single opportunity as a lead, right?
Yep.
Because very few of them actually do convert. And so that's really what we're focusing on this year. So we're going to take that funding that we've recently closed and really start building up the team. We've already grown quite substantially in terms of team size, and then start building out the product in more mature, basically bring it to maturity. Our product right now is in 7 markets. So we're in Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, LA, San Francisco, and Austin. But
Gotcha.
we're going to start to expand across major markets across US and Canada, as well as start to bring in more and more of the conception stage data sets that we're looking at, as well as the construction and post-construction. We have a pretty good handle on pre-construction at this stage, but making
Uh-huh.
sure that we're bookending the entire journey is really, really important to our users.
Gotcha. And so then I could see you meshing pretty well with some project management softwares they're already out there and making, real time. That's pretty amazing what you're doing. I
Thank
didn't
you.
understand at first when wow, that's a lot. And it sounds like you're gonna take off real fast.
Thank you.
uh, let me see, what other questions do I have? Okay, so how's it been being a entrepreneur? So tell me something about how's the business side been for you growing a business?
As a first-time founder, it has been an incredibly eye-opening experience. I often joke that this is a PhD in business. We have one of the probably biggest challenges that I didn't know I'd be interacting with is the people side. I didn't realize that, yes, there's, the building of the technology and bringing this idea to life is a very, when you're building the future, it's a very challenging thing. But also making sure that you have the right people in place. And so we're really now starting to get to a good rhythm where we have a phenomenal culture. We have really empowered folks on our team, very diverse mindsets, and we're starting to charge forward all in the same direction. I think when you're bootstrapping in your basement, you learn a lot of terrible skills or bad habits, I should say, and so starting to curb those and really start to put the company on on track with objectives and where we're headed and defining the vision and all of that. So it's been a fantastic learning experience.
Well, I
Very
think
much a
too,
reward.
as being a founder and entrepreneur, most of the people you'll deal with in construction that's where they started, that's where they were, and to be able
Absolutely.
to identify with that yourself is a very humbling and grounding experience, and then makes you realize how much the selling points and the pain points of your client, because on some level you were there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all built our businesses from the ground up, right? So
Yeah, well, and dealing with people and being clear, and um, so somebody starting like a new construction company, do you think that how would they use this to help grow their business?
yeah, absolutely. So we typically target mid to large size companies primarily because they have the teams to be able to support a tool like ours. What's really important for us is that, if you're a team where you're doing the business development as well as the estimating, as well as all the pre-con work, you're probably not at a stage where you need something like us. You probably just need to set up your foundation. That being said, though, we definitely see companies that are in massive growth looking to a tool like ours because we are able to shorten that distance to opening up a new market, especially when you consider the fact that it takes about 4 to 6 years to set boots on the ground and really get yourself known in a market. Mercator coming in and being able to feed you viable opportunities and tell you who you should be making relationships with is incredibly powerful right off the bat, and it really shortens that time frame down. So we've got a couple of customers right now who are doing that exact thing where they're moving into new markets with our tool, and so we're just starting to see how that's benefiting them and the fruits of those labors. So case studies to come for sure.
Gotcha, awesome. And so what is the price point on something like this? Is it affordable? What does that look like? Is it a subscription? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a flat fee model. We're still determining what our pricing looks like right now, but we do a flat fee model primarily because we're an early stage company and we really just want to open the doors wide open so that our customers aren't necessarily blocked or have barriers based off of usage or markets or features or users. And so we want to make sure that our user or our customers can access the platform in its full capacity. We are so intensely customer obsessed. We spend a heck of a lot of time listening to our customers and making sure that we're building the right tool for them. I see so many companies stepping into market that, build something that they had a pain point and they haven't really validated it with, how others want to be using tools like that. So we spend a heck of a lot of time listening to our customers, and as a result we want to make sure that we're not burdening them with, oh, did I pay for this, or am I, do I have enough users to do this or try this or send it to my marketing team or my operations team, because we do provide a lot of, competitive intelligence in the tool, market intelligence in the tool, right? Kind of starting this new category of industry intelligence in construction, we want to make sure that there is, yes, an education barrier because most of us have never interacted with tools like this before. So we want to make sure that we're not putting any barriers in place. So our pricing is fixed. We typically charge, 2,000 USD a month, and we are actively evolving that as we learn from our customers, learn the value that we're creating, and ultimately grow into a more mature product.
So tell me some more about the competitive data that you were mentioning. What does that look like, and how can people use that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that our users love about our platform is the fact that they can understand what their competitors look like, what kind of work they're taking on. Um, the other aspect that we often see being used is tracking our consultants or tracking our clients. One of our customers actually tracks their client base and found a project that they've got going on that they hadn't heard about yet. And so we're able to proactively call them up and say, hey, take a look at our medical work that we do. Let's feature that in front of you, knowing that we've got work coming up, but not necessarily saying so, right?
Mhm.
We allow our users to track their competitors to understand, if they bid on work, who won that work, right? So being able to
Mhm.
track either specific projects to understand what happened post construction, what happened once the project started getting built, and then also, what work do they have on their slate right now? And, is there an opportunity for me to potentially come in and undercut, or potentially come in and see that they have, most of their work scheduled out for the year already? Are there opportunities that I can step in on projects that I may not have previously won because, my competitors typically win those? We also help companies that start to understand who they're competing against and what their differentiators can potentially be, and where could we help them identify those differentiators. So all of this is kind of growing in the platform as we speak, but a lot of that is available today.
Yeah, it sounds like like that's a lot of information. Then. And so, how does it work on you? I don't have no idea how all this technology and AI works. Is this something like how difficult would it be to come for you to come to Houston? Is that a difficult thing to build out, or
Right now, we're working on. So we're in Austin, so we're in a neighboring city, but it takes us about 6 to 8 weeks to launch a market right now, and we're starting to trim that down to about 2 weeks.
wow, that's so
So we'll see
impressive.
ourselves.
68 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll see ourselves launching markets quite rapidly here, probably near the end of this year and then into early next year.
And so, customer service. Who are they talking to if that somebody's got an issue? Who are they calling?
They're calling us. I mean, they're calling myself, they're calling my co-founder. We still do founder-led sales, and I think a big reason for that is because we want to make sure that we're understanding exactly what our customers are asking for, both on the prospecting side, so making sure that, the product we're building is suiting their needs in the markets they need it to be, as well as on the customer side, making sure that we're addressing those problems immediately, but they're also making their way into our long-term product roadmap. So a lot of the work that I previously did as a data strategist is sitting in rooms and hearing people talk and just listen. and just
Gotcha.
hearing what they're saying that they're not saying, reading between the lines. And so oftentimes, our users will show us how they use the tool, or they'll tell us, hey, it would be great if we could have this, and we can start asking questions about, okay, well, how would you use that? And what would that, what value would that create for you? And so as a result, we're able to then start to take our our knowledge about how consumer tools and B2B tools have been built in the past, and what can we bring here that's going to really revolutionize how you interact and how you answer that question, and how you take the next step after you've answered that question. Because a lot of the times there's a data maturity curve, right? That we're
Hmm.
teaching our users and we're growing with them. And so we hand them, the first set of answers to the burning questions that they have. And instantly you start to see them start asking smarter and smarter questions and more advanced questions. And so making sure that the tool keeps in lockstep with them as they grow and evolve is really, really important. And I think that's a big part of why we continue to do founder-led sales
That's
and,
awesome.
and founder-led customer success.
That's awesome. So, most important question: does your dad use it?
Yeah, absolutely. Why
Okay,
wouldn't
I'm
he?
making sure.
He's our
And
biggest
so, if
champion.
you sold him, you could sell anybody.
Amazing.
Absolutely. All right. Well, so somebody wanted to find out more about your product. Where should they go?
Yeah, so they go to Mercator.ai. So that's Mercator.ai. And they can check us out there. We have a form that they can register for a trial. We will be reaching out to them and engaging with them either via a demo or a trial, depending on kind of where they are in their life cycle, and based off of our resources. Our trials are filling up fast, so we're not always able to get everyone in right away.
No, it sounds like you're going to be real busy. This is a very exciting product. Man, I look having you on again as you develop in different markets and your different products too. But thank you so much, Chloe, for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, pleasure, Karalynn. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thanks.